Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. I want to do a quick video today about how Steve Mnuchin and the Trump administration are engaged in the latest indignity and abuse of the American taxpayer. And it has to do with how they are spending our tax dollars as part of the $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief package. And specifically, $600 billion of that is part of what's called the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. And it is being given out to small businesses to try to keep those businesses up and running and keep paychecks coming to the employees as we try to work our way through our public health emergency. So when the legislation was passed, the Trump administration and Secretary Mnuchin said, don't worry, there will be full transparency about how we're spending the taxpayers' dollars. There is an excellent Inspector General, Glenn Fine, longtime public servant, honest, honorable, ethical man who will oversee how we spend this money to make sure there's no crime, corruption, cronyism, fraud, abuse. And then Donald Trump promptly fired Inspector General Glenn Fine. So now Steve Mnuchin is telling Congress and the American people, all of whom want answers about how this money is being spent, he's telling us, take a flying leap. We're not telling you how we are spending your taxpayer dollars. How does Steve Mnuchin justify this? He says, well, it's proprietary information. We're not allowed to tell you how we are spending your tax dollars. It's proprietary information. Folks, look up the term proprietary information, and it's generally when a company wants to keep something secret, whether it's a secret design or a secret formula or a secret recipe, something they don't want to get out there. So this is Steve Mnuchin's excuse for hiding this information from the American taxpayer and from Congress. Now, there's one really interesting part of this proprietary information claim. Because you see, when businesses apply for PPP loans for our tax dollars, they are required to fill out paperwork with the Small Business Administration, the SBA. And in that paperwork, it tells the companies that are applying for this money, this may very well be subject to release, this information. So I'm not sure how foolish Steve Mnuchin thinks the American people are, but when they promise transparency up front, then they fire the Inspector General designed to provide that transparency, and then they say, we're not telling you anything about it because it's proprietary information, even though when the businesses apply for the loan, they're told it could be made public. It all reminds me of when Steve Mnuchin refused to turn over Donald Trump's tax returns. Remember that? It was about a year ago now. And the federal law says, upon a request of the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, the IRS, the Secretary of the Treasury, shall turn over somebody's tax returns. And Steve Mnuchin broke the law and said, I'm not doing it. And of course, they've been fighting that in court ever since. When that happened, when Steve Mnuchin violated the federal law, and remember, Donald Trump told us all along during the campaign, they're coming, I'm going to turn them over, I'm going to turn them over as soon as I'm not under audit anymore. Has he ever really been under audit, or was that just a bunch of nonsense because he doesn't want us to see how broke he is or how beholden he is to, I don't know, Russians? It reminded me, though, of what a member of Congress last told Steve Mnuchin when he broke the law. It was Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. And it was about a year ago now when Mnuchin was trying to not comply with the federal law and cover up Donald Trump's tax returns. Here is what Representative Tlaib told Steve Mnuchin, this was reported out in USA Today about a year ago now, quote, Representative Rashida Tlaib told Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin that, as an attorney, she would be remiss if she did not counsel him to seek personal legal advice for his role in a Trump administration cover-up, close quote. You know, I would suggest that was excellent advice back then, and it's even better advice now because of the way Steve Mnuchin and the Trump administration is covering up how they are spending our tax dollars after they fired the Inspector General, who was supposed to be our watchdog, our eyes and ears on the Trump administration, to protect us against crime, corruption, cronyism, abuse, fraud. But you know what? Hopefully, Steve Mnuchin will take Representative Tlaib's advice, because he's going to need it, because justice is coming. And he's going to be on the losing end of the justice stick come January, when we have a law-abiding president and a law-enforcing attorney general, and all of what's being buried right now, all of what's being withheld from the American people, will see the light of day. And then we're all going to see just how ugly it has been under the reign of Donald Trump. But justice is coming, folks. As always, please stay safe, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.